Hello, hello. Welcome to today's episode of More Influence and Impact. And I'm so excited for our conversation that we're going to be diving into today about stepping into your purpose and really creating and scaling and growing that business that is aligned with your purpose, with your soul calling, that is incredibly fulfilling, that lights you up, that brings you a lot of money, and doing it in a way that it just feels good to you. And so I brought on an expert who can talk about this probably all day long. And actually, she will be talking about it all day long with an upcoming event she has. I would like you all to meet Tara Nolan, aka Transformation Tara. Hi, Tara.
Hello, Celia. Thank you for having me.
Yes, excited to have you. Thank you for joining. And for those of you who have never connected with Tara, she is a globe-trotting, yoga-loving single mom who turned her passion for spirituality and online business into a career. And she serves heart-centered entrepreneurs to live their dreams and love their lives. And we're going to be talking about your dream methodology today on our conversation.
Absolutely. That's what I do. Yes. It's all about looking at, currently in life, what's feeling really good and what's not feeling so good, what's working, what's not working, and then getting clear on that dream vision of where you want to go. I'm a believer that your business shouldn't be there to take away. It should be there to add to it. So it's not like we're fitting life in around our business, like the old paradigm. It's more that we build a business already with those choices and those priorities in place that, leads to the foundation of how you do set up your life, and your business.
Yes, absolutely. And so to get into some of the content today, I always like to go into high level of like your journey and what brought you to where you are today. So can you share with our listeners and viewers a little bit about your backstory?
Yeah, after about 20 years in corporate as a top level sales executive, I was the top in my company actually in North America. I continued to work my way up. I had received multiple promotions, and other companies competing for me, and I was no longer happy. And I didn't even realize like how bad it was, or I don't know that I was ready to make a change until I lost a friend very suddenly in a motorcycle accident. And actually, I ride motorcycles, and he and I used to ride together. And I was at my corporate apartment in Chicago. I had a home where I'm now in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I got the call that I just would never see him again. Mm-hmm. So if you've ever had one of those moments in your life that feels like a defining moment, that was one for me, because as much as we know that our life isn't forever, mortality still doesn't always seem real. And here I was confronted with it. And I not only mourned the loss of my friend, but I also recognized that this is it. And if this is it, what I'm doing with it really matters. I was thinking, how did I get here? Is this really where I want to be? And what if I do this another 10 or 20 or 30 years? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh God, no. So I left, like many people, I had climbed the corporate ladder, or, gone to school, did all the things I was supposed to do. And it reached a, really decent high level income. Actually, I was at a very high level. I was at the upper 2% of the United States at the time. So it wasn't easy to leave and not know what was next. Mm-hmm. But I did something different. I traveled around the world by myself. I took a year off of work, and I spent about a month in each country that I was called to. Mm-hmm. And I studied Eastern philosophies on deeper level happiness. I did a yoga teacher training. I studied under amazing spiritual masters and gurus. And now I combine the modern business with the spiritual and holistic practice to look at success in all aspects of life and really guide people to what is going to give you that highest level of fulfillment in life, because you all deserve it.
Mm-hmm. So were you already a spiritual person before you went on that 1-year journey, and that was part of kind of what led to this shift? Or was that did you go and find your spirituality on that 1 year journey?
I would say it was hiding.
Okay.
I didn't realize I was at all. And now looking back, I would actually say I was very much spiritually suffering, but I
Okay.
wouldn't have categorized it as that at the time. I was brought up religious in the Catholic religion, and parts of it didn't align with me anymore. So um, I was kind of pushing it away and
Mhm.
saying, I don't, and I was just busy with corporate world, and I don't, like, it was always in me. I've always been this person that's been drawn to the chakras or,
Mhm.
yoga. I've always been meditation. Like anytime I heard about these things, I really perked up. Like I was really curious about it, but I didn't have them in place in my life at the time.
Okay. And then what happened for you to be like, okay, I'm gonna go travel for a year? Like, how did you come to that decision to do that?
Well, I knew I couldn't do my job anymore with the
Mhm.
passing of my friend. And I thought, what else am I going to do? I'm not just going to hang out around Milwaukee and not work. So
Yeah.
I wanted to discover something different. I wanted to study new cultures and see how other people were
Mhm.
living. I had done some international travel throughout my life, and I I just knew that there had to be another way. I just didn't know how. I didn't know what it was. And so I was literally searching to find it. And
Mhm.
that's what led me to the journey. And it was right around the Eat, Pray, Love time that the book had come out.
Uh-huh.
Yes, the beautiful thing about books and movies and different things, like this was long before the movie, but I think Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, I think she really empowered me to make
Mhm.
some new choices by saying, if she can do it, why can't I? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know where I want to go. I wanted to go to, I'd heard Argentina was amazing. I'd never been. I'd always wanted to go to Australia. I'd heard Thailand was great. And then I realized I can actually just do it all. I get to give myself permission to do it all. And now I believe in my work, I help other people give themselves permission to do exactly what they want with their lives and then
Mhm.
provide a methodology to, create that formula.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing about the journey because I think it's so powerful to like really look at the inside of like what the thought processes were and what happened because sometimes we all have those moments and it's like, are we going to do something about it? Are we going to, follow that intuition and that instinct and that nudge? And so, with your dream methodology, can you just walk us through? Is it an acronym, I'm guessing, of that it stands for something?
Yeah, and then there's something else to help people, like what's coming to me. I started telling people I was going to do it before I even really knew if I was. Like I really
Okay.
wanted to. It's like whether it's building your business or finding that, building the seven figure or, whatever your next dream or goal is, I started telling people and then I knew I couldn't like lie about it. Like I'm going to
Right.
Thailand, I'm going to Argentina, I'm going to Australia, I'm going to travel the world alone.
Uh-huh.
I like, okay, now I've got to actually book plane tickets. Like it was small step by small step by small step.
Mhm.
I'm going to tell people, I'm going to take the time off, I'm going to book the tickets. So it gets the same in building your business. It's this journey
Mhm.
step by step. So the dream methodology was really it started on this trip because at the end, I was in a yoga teacher training in Bali, Indonesia, and I had climbed, I'm like kind of crazy. So my day off, I climbed a volcano, like an 11-hour hike, and I ended up to make it to the top. We left at like midnight so we could drive to it and then make it to the top at sunrise. And
Mhm.
my friend that went with me, like her legs were giving out. She's like, forget it.
Mhm.
She didn't, I don't blame her, but I was like, I'm going for it. So
Mhm.
needless to say, at the end of this 11-hour hike, I was really exhausted. I'm across the world. I kind of collapsed on this black sand beach. And I thought, what if anything were possible?
Mhm.
Like, will I go back to corporate? Where am I going to live after this? What am I going to do? And so now there's a new way of thinking that I have formulated in my mind that I teach others. And that is to dream if anything were possible. Like, ask yourself, what would be amazing in your
Mhm.
relationship, in your health, in your living environment, in your career? So that's exactly what I did on that day in that beach. And then I journaled about it. And I can say, looking back, because that was almost 15 to 20 years ago now, I lived that life for the next 10
Mhm.
years. I had dreamt about like continuing to travel around the world and teach yoga and host retreats and help people find transformation in their lives. So in the next decade, I mean, I can't even believe it. I actually did it from retreats to Peru, Machu Picchu, Peru, to Costa Rica, to Bali, and et cetera, Tulum, Mexico. So D is determine the vision. You've got to know where you're going, where you want to go, and not let life just happen to you and go with the plan, but actually
Mhm.
dream about what's possible.
Okay, so determine the vision. And I really appreciate that approach too, because I think a lot of times when people are getting coached, like, what do you want to create? What's your vision? They'll just sort of start with where they are now. And they'll say, like, I can't even envision what it could look like, or I don't even think about it. So that zooming out and saying, well, if anything were possible, like, and you could just
Yes.
have anything, and what would you love? It's like it brings up the Einstein quote about you can't solve a problem at the level of consciousness it was created. So instantly you shift your consciousness and now you're thinking bigger, you're looking at things differently. It's like, well, what would I love? And it becomes kind of like an exploration and something joyful and even childlike that can really help people to shift out of their state to start thinking differently.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much anxiety and depression and stress and overwhelm in this world. And I know that getting back to dreaming is there's really a message within you that you need to listen to, that
Mhm.
you want something different in your life when you're experiencing those things. And most of us don't even know how to tune in and listen to what our heart actually wants because we
Right.
don't think it's possible, which leads me to R, which is remove the blocks. So immediately when someone starts to dream, they say, oh, Tara, that's great. I can think about making this money, living in this place, but it's not possible for me. Well, the
Mhm.
minute it's not possible for you, you've created your own roadblock and you've stopped that flow of, universal energetic support in getting there, as well as stopping yourself from ever taking actions to get there. So you really have to, that's where it helps to work with a coach or a third party, to remove blocks that are standing in your way to creating whatever dream it is that you want in your life.
Okay, so removing the blocks, and then what about E?
Well, E is explore your purpose. So I believe purpose is the antidote to depression, anxiety, because we wake up each day with a passion to do what we want to do. I know you and I love what we do each day.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, this is funny. I have this little dog that insists on
Yeah.
coming on my lap. So if you're seeing her, pop in and up and down. But purpose is, uh, for me, it derives from this word in Sanskrit, dharma, which is your life purpose or living your truth. When you're living in alignment with your truth, you're living in integrity. You
Mhm.
are in a place where you're meant to be. There is a beautiful sense of being grounded and being able to rise at the same time.
Mhm.
And from decades of experience now, working with thousands of women and some men, I know that purpose is the answer to
Mhm.
changing lives dramatically. But it takes some time, perhaps, and some work to get really clear on what that is.
Yeah, because it's not a sit down in one afternoon and plot it out logical linear. Though some people do have that quick awakening and it just hits them. I think everybody has their own journey to find their purpose. And
That's
from
true.
knowing, yeah.
I do too. I think it's often peeling back the layers
Hmm.
of, the masks that we wear, the roles that we play. So whether it is, wonderful roles such as motherhood, I love being a mother, spouse, CEO, whatever it is, your business occupation, but all of these are who we begin to identify with.
Yep.
And true identity is only found in your soul essence. The
Hmm.
soul is this word Atman, and it's located at the innermost layer of, again, I'm referring to some spiritual terms from Sanskrit, but the koshas. So there's these 5 layers. We get to the very center, and it's the bliss layer, and that's where the soul is. So that's where I derived this term, soul calling success, because it's creating success in alignment with what your soul's calling for, also with your purpose, with your truth, with your dharma. This is all like the same kind of thought process or philosophy here. So yes, you can find your purpose by looking to your passions, looking to what you're drawn to, and also looking to your wounds, your experiences. They've all been here to guide you to where you're meant to be. So I would say wherever you are right now is exactly where you're meant to be. Whether you're in a state of discovery, a state of challenge, or a state of celebration, it's all guiding you to what's next. And that's where like trust and faith, play a part.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because that's that unfolding and trusting the journey to allow your purpose to reveal itself and for you to receive it. And then what about, so we have E and then A.
A is action from inspiration. So you have to create an action plan. And that's where a lot of people also get stuck. So it's like, what are my next steps? I don't know how to get there. And so I'll share one last quick story about me when I was in this stuck place. It was after becoming a mother and traveling the world. And, so you've already got my life story here. I did corporate for so long, and then I was traveling the world doing yoga trainings. And then I became a mother, a single mother. And I didn't want to do my business the same way, nor could I really. And I almost went back to corporate because now I wanted to provide financially on a higher level for her and for our future, but I also wanted to have time for her. So those were two high level priorities as a mother, like provide for her and be there for her. And I didn't know how. I thought I was going to go to corporate, and it was just like gut wrenching for me. It was just hurting my heart because I didn't see that I would have any time for my daughter. I knew that I'd be abandoning my purpose. I knew that there were people out there I was really meant to help, and that I had already been making a difference on so many lives, but I didn't know how to really make money at it. Like I had made money in corporate, and I had made it work through traveling and retreats. So I remember walking down my tree-lined street in the North Woods of Wisconsin with my daughter in her stroller. And I just thought that to myself exactly. I thought, I'm not giving up. I'm going to be an example for her that you can follow your heart and make a darn good living at it, that you can do anything you want with your life, and you can be there for the people you love and have time for yourself. I just knew it. I didn't know how, though. So that is when I took the action of hiring a coach so I could learn what actions to take, because I thought if other people have done it and done it successfully, I can do it. I'm smart, I'm determined, I can do it. I just don't know how. And I really want to share that point to anyone watching, that no matter what it is you want in your dream, like there are people who can help you and support you in getting there. You don't have to know how. You don't have all the answers. You do have to believe it's possible, and look, instead of looking for reasons that you can't or why it won't work for you, look for examples all around you that it is possible, that there's evidence out there in the world that people can be successful doing whatever it is that you want to do.
Yes, yes, yes. Looking for those examples and what I call creating a likeness, right? Where you know that you can step into that, and that's something that can inspire you to create different results in your own life. And then what about M?
M is make the commitment.
Okay.
So you have to go deep into why this matters to you, because you will come up against more roadblocks, more challenges, and your own limiting beliefs than you can ever imagine when you're building a business. So many of you here are purpose-driven professionals and entrepreneurs and coaches. Like, you will know there are so many times that you'll want to give up or just, feel like, is it really worth it? Am I really getting there? The difference between those of us who really thrive and those of us who just survive are those that stay committed and ask for help. Because when you get the help you need, the support you need, and you're connected to your why, you're unstoppable. You won't stop until you succeed. So there is no other choice accept the reality of your dream.
Mm-hmm.
You're not stopping till it happens. So
Mm-hmm.
even if you do everything else, you won't make it unless you do M. Make the commitment and you do it really powerfully.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And keep going, through all the obstacles and challenges. And what would you say to someone who is in a place where maybe they're at that, they're, they've grown their business to a certain point, but it's just like obstacle after challenge, and they're questioning their commitment. How do you coach your clients through that, or what advice do you give people that are in that place? Because it happens at any stage of the journey.
I think you've got to step back and take a bird's eye view of your business and your life and look at what's not working, because it might be time to pivot in some way, even if it's just 10%.
Yeah.
There's when things aren't working, it's an indication that something has to change. This does not mean you need to give up, but this does mean that you have to do something different. So
Mm-hmm.
you are swimming upstream and you want to be going with the current. So typically when you are really in alignment with your dharma or your life purpose, you will find that there are opportunities that come up that you can't even possibly plan for.
Mm-hmm.
The people that come, like, you're just carried down the river.
Yeah.
So you need to take the time to work on your business, work on your life instead of being busy in it.
Yeah.
And that is specifically why I provide these, in-person, I still provide in-person events and retreats and online workshops. And because it is so important that to find real success, you have to give yourself more thinking time, more
Yes.
creative time, and not just doing time.
Yes, yes. I was sharing with someone yesterday and today about like what I was calling the pattern interrupt, of something that pulls you out of your normal day-to-day routine. Because again, if you're just continuing to grind every day, the same thoughts are running through your head. You're not giving yourself breaks. You're not getting into nature. You're not going to workshops and events and elevating yourself and, your personal and professional development. It's very hard to create a new result because you're just sort of continuing to operate from that same place of
Yeah,
thinking and
yeah.
action.
You need recovery time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if you're into working out at all, and I love lifting weights and yoga, and there's also and hiking and all this, and there needs to be time off for your muscles to recover. Well, it's the same thing with your brain, in your life, with your business, because then you get like a better workout, like you get better in your career, you get better in your business. So take that time to attend events, or take time just for you to
Mm-hmm.
just give yourself, self-care and what you love. Journaling.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And so how do you work with your clients in your business? So share a little bit about your offers and how people work with you.
Sure. I have my signature program is a year-long magical manifestation mastermind, where I support people on a business track and a transformation track. So what that means is we specialize in sales, business structure, and strategy, like a client attraction system, and the way to, not only what you want, but how to achieve it. And the transformation track is really that healing mindset, spirituality, relationships. So we take this holistic approach to success, and I provide group and one-on-one support within the mastermind to do so. And then I mentioned that I have, quarterly workshops that sometimes we invite the public to, or anyone in our, sphere of influence, as well as these are all included for mastermind members. So I do those quarterly. I have retreats. I'm taking a group to Bali. So if you see this, you can check it out at our transformationtara.com. We have upcoming events. So you can always go there, Transformation Tara, and see what's coming up next. So I still have like 2 spaces in Bali in the first week of May of 2024, depending when you're watching this. And so if that's been on your bucket list and on your dream list, that's where magic happened for me. And then we have if it's okay to share, we have just next week, I have the in-person event in Milwaukee, which is called Manifest Live. So I've done this in Milwaukee before. I've done this online. It's a 2.5 to 3 day event where we really do step back to look at, like, what's the overview of what you want your business and life to look like? How can you build a business that empowers your dream life? I share how I built a 7-figure business, and specifically with just real openness and honesty as to where the challenges have been, what's really worked, what hasn't worked. I think in the coaching industry, sometimes it can feel like everyone has their own method and just do these things to get there, and it's all going to work. And I think some of that's BS. I think that it's been hard, and people didn't tell me about all the expenses that come with it. When I first hit 6 figures, I just want to hit 6 figures. I just want to hit multiple 6 figures. Like, it was like, well, there's a lot more to it to look at than just like the revenue growth.
Yes, yes. Like that experience and that enjoyment and, all of the things that you were talking about today. Yeah, there's so many pieces to it. And I really appreciate that you have the business strategy side and the inner journey side as well, because it's like we can do all the strategy and tactic all day long, but if we don't have that inner world to support it, the mindset, the thinking, the connection, it makes it very difficult to get the business to where we want it to be.
Absolutely. But I'm also saying the things that people didn't teach me earlier on was like, which I knew in my corporate business, but it was like making decisions from profitability and really knowing your numbers on an intimate level with joy, knowing what you're creating. It's, just like in your life, you want to look at what you're creating in your business. What is your, you do need a strategy to get there, not just, where are the clients coming from? I hope they come. It's hard to get clients. I hear people say that to me. So to my clients, I say, well, we need to formulate a system for you. Like, so that it's reliable. It's a reliable way that that clients are coming in and revenue's coming in on a regular basis.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so share where people can connect with you. I know you have a free gift to share. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So the content I'm going to be covering at Manifest Live, some of it will be for this particular Manifest Live, will connect with how you build with what we were talking about earlier with your foundation. My foundation is built on 4 elements: freedom, fulfillment, finances, and fun, as well as how to rise with my 3 pillars of purpose, passion, prosperity. So I give you some journaling prompts to get really clear on what that looks like for you, what really matters to you in the soul calling success roadmap for Samadhi blueprint. Samadhi is bliss or enlightenment. So to create a blissful life, you've got to build a strong foundation. And I give you just, that's just opening you up to what's possible. So if you're someone that's interested in journaling and dreaming and getting clear on what you want your business to look like, that's a starting point. And if it speaks to you, you may want to, carve away some time to join us at the manifestwithtara.com Manifest Live in Milwaukee.
Great. And there is a virtual component to that as well for people that may not be able to join live.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, it's both. You can join from the comfort of your living room, or you can come and join us live. And then, I think it's important to share. I would love to share that a few times a year, I do an online dream journey. And I do this complimentary for the most part. I actually used to charge $1,000 for it. And we always, had a great showing. But I've decided to make it accessible for everyone. And I do that. So whenever you're watching this, you can go to dreamwithtara.com and check out the dream journey if you're interested in the acronym we spoke of today and applying this more deeply to your life. So I do this in the form of like a 5-day challenge. So that's something ongoing you can always be a part of.
Beautiful. Okay, we'll make sure that we have that in the show notes. And thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your time today, Tara. It was a great conversation, and I know our listeners and viewers got a lot out of it. And be sure to check out those show notes so you can get all the links to the gifts and her upcoming dream challenge and all of the other things. And of course, check out her Milwaukee event coming up as well. So thanks again, Tara. And thank you to all of our listeners and viewers. Until next time, this is Celia Fay